Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. It just came to my attention that Bashar Ja'afari of Syria, during the Security Council media stakeout on the 19th of December 2016, said something very interesting. Check this out.
Unfortunately, some member states in the Security Council and the mainstream media continue to defend and support the genetically modified armed Syrian opposition, moderate by definition, while turning a blind eye to the crimes committed by them. The genetically modified armed Syrian opposition.
Genetically modified armed Syrian opposition, sometimes labeled the moderates. Now, according to an old RT article from August 2016, it says here the CIA is in control of the moderate rebels, and the Pentagon is in control of the 5 that are left after our country invested $100 million to develop moderate rebels responsive to the Pentagon. And that's according to former CIA officer Ray McGovern. And it's interesting that they keep bringing up the Geneva talks between Russia and the US, and of course the Geneva peace talks on Syria, because Geneva, Switzerland is where CERN and the Large Hadron Collider is at. So interesting connection there with the possibility of these genetically modified armed soldiers. Now, if you guys remember, just a few months ago, back in April 21st, Army Chief of Staff General Mark Milley, during the speech to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the ROTC program at Norwich University, he mentioned this.
If the world of 1916 was complex, or the world of 1945 was complex, the world of 2016 is intensely complex. And I can tell you that from personal experience, and I know there's many others who can tell you that as well. And you will graduate and be in that world, and you're going to be leading the soldiers and the sailors, the airmen and the Marines in that world. You'll be dealing with terrorists, you'll be dealing with hybrid armies, you'll be dealing with little green men, you're going to be dealing with tribes, you'll be dealing with national leaders and local leaders, you'll be dealing with politics and economics, and you'll be dealing with direct fire and indirect fire, and you're going to be dealing with it all, and it's all going to be dealt with simultaneously.
Now, while the Army Times brushed this off as little green men referring to troops or paramilitary forces, I don't think they necessarily addressed the mention of the hybrid armies, and the explanation I've heard is that it simply means the hybridness of these different elements: paramilitary, tribes, terrorists, etc. But given what we just heard from Bashar Ja'afari of the UN regarding Syria, I'm beginning to wonder, what really is the CIA and the dark underground military? What are they up to? And have they used radical Islamic extremists as a testing ground for genetic modification and super soldiers? It's the kind of evil thing that sort of makes sense for the shadow underground government that's already thinks it's got its army, right? And is this the beginning of the kinds of things discussed in the book Art-elect War by Dr. Hugo de Garis? Class wars between humanity that transcend race and is all about the integration with technology. And given the big news coming out about artificial intelligence, with Apple joining Facebook, Google, and Microsoft and using AI algorithms to deal with their respective platforms, and it's all about advertising, and it's all about buying and selling online. And this is why this is so crazy. And if you start tying 2 and 2 together, the genetic modification and this system of commerce that is being created in the digital age, you have the recipe for something like the mark of the beast. And it's not crazy talk anymore. This is right in front of us. And if you think I'm making this up, I am not. TechTimes.com back in September of 2015 reported DARPA investing $32 million into DNA manufacturing. Super soldiers on the way? And in the article, it states, quote, "The Foundry is at the forefront of synthetic biology developments," and mentions that in 2013, DARPA launched a solicitation effort for the project Advanced Tools for Mammalian Genome Engineering, which, more than just being focused on the engineering of any mammal's genome, the project was specifically launched for the bioengineering of humans. And this has been going on for years and years and years, and now we're getting to the point where they can't contain it anymore. And then add to that the prospect of Project Bluebeam, voice-to-skull technology, and virtual realities and augmented realities to create highly controlled hallucinations. We are entering a time when the nations are deceived by the sorcery of the merchants. And this is exactly how this is all unfolding. It's right in the book of Revelation, and it's quite startling to be living in these times, but I think those of us who have eyes to see these things, this wave is growing bigger and bigger, and eventually it'll crash down. But until then, we have to occupy, we have to spread the word about the gospel, that there's truth and hope in all this stuff, and freedom from these systems that are being built. And yes, we have to resist and fight back the tyrannical behavior and legislation and stuff like that. I think we should do that. Sign petitions, that sort of thing. But more important than the greater systems at play here is your fellow man, the people in your periphery, in your life, your family, friends. Those are the people you should connect with, reach out to, and make sure are comforted by the knowledge and understanding of what's coming. All thanks to the Lord and the Word of God that gives us truth. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.